City Lab at MIT in Venice. Kokol's work is a constant search for a new paradigm with the attractor in between architecture and conceptual art. 2007, he founded the design and visualization company Pecha-Kucha. Welcome.
Thank you for the very nice introduction. So we can just start because the time is very limited, 20 times 20, I thought it's 40 times 40, but let's see. Basically my research is based on mass customization, so the exact title of the PhD research is mass customization based on economic theories in relation to unique works of art. So I'm gonna start taking you through this whole process, starting globally, going more and more into detail and ending at the case study. This basically, the people you see is like Joseph B. Pine, Frank Piller, Zheng Liao, and Stan Davis, which are actually the pioneers that created the term mass customization. Mass customization can be seen kind of as a further step of mass production, where the needs of the customers are actually being an important part. Stan Davis created with his book Future Perfect, talking about new age economy and how to run successfully organizations. There were the three terms, time, matter, and space, which are very important as a global and constant loop, how they create a new, better way of organizations. In our days, market research companies have gained much more importance. Nielsen, for sure, is like one of the worldwide most important companies, besides others like NetQuest. What they do is like getting all the mass. All the people asking what their needs are, and then actually they sell this to other companies, so these companies can then provide them a very, let's say, tailored product. Another example for this is like the e-commerce, which maybe eBay must be the most popular one. So again, when you enter at eBay with your username, with your password, then based on your history, what you were looking at, the products, they can, the producer can order you a tailored product. From now on, I'm going to go more, stop the theory, go more into architecture, which I'm a trained architect, so that's actually also my interest. So it's going more and more into detail. This project I've been personally involved is the Spanish Pavilion, designed by Miralles Telebue for the Expo 2010 in Shanghai. The interesting part in relation to mass customization is that all of these panels that you see here on the facade, they were actually all custom-made. And the important fact is that it would be interesting to set up a, let's say, industrial process to create those elements, but in that case they were all handmade. They were all handmade in China to create kind of a relation to the exposition. This is a prototype that you see like on the terrace of the Miralles Telebue office in Barcelona, which was also handmade in the office. Well, I didn't do the prototype, I have to say, it's just the example. So this is actually very specific because in that case, instead of making the whole production process like in an industry, it was all handmade. The second project I'm presenting is the Bridge Pavilion by Zaha Hadid for the Expo 2008 in Zaragoza, which also has another very unique use of mass customization. Here you just see the spanning bridge, which was actually one of the three entrances from the city itself to the expo area. The interesting part, what I was doing, it was like the work on the interior space, which was actually supposed to be with glass fiber reinforced plastics, but due to the high costs and there was no time to finish it before the deadline, the architect was looking for alternatives. The alternative was done with serial plastic boards. These serial plastic boards were customized in a second step in the factory. Meaning, here you see that's a very simple example of one of those products. There were actually also more complicated ones. And in this case, there was customized and to fit the, let's say, the complicated shape in the interior of the bridge itself. So from here on, I jump actually to art. This is Jordi Paredes, the cousin of Enrique Miralles, who is also a big mentor of mine. And when I met him, actually we started talking about the research, about mass customization, how to create something unique, let's say. And that's where art came into play. There were different topics that I started trying to explore, like through paintings, which is the case, which is kind of the unconscious sketch in the mind of the architect, which is transferred to the physical space in a form of, let's say, a physical painting. This kind of started getting the research more and more into detail. What is mass customization? How do you really create something unique? Is something unique that can be recreated, really unique at the end? So that was actually when then I started making interviews. The interviews here you see in this picture is Paul Ott, is the Austrian's, let's say, most famous photographer in terms of architecture, and talking with him about if you have like analog and negative, what's the value of this? And if you have like exhibition with 10 different negatives, it's what's the value of these copies in relation to the original. Nader Terani, the professor at the MIT, was talking with him about handcrafted manufacturing and industrialized manufacturing. If there is like a romantic view, if you talk about something that has been handmade, and he was just saying that's a romantic view to the past. After all this, let's say, researchers' interviews, I came up to go more into detail, which was then one of my, let's say, most admired artists, Franz Klein, the American expressionist, born in 1962, and I tried, okay, now we're gonna go a step further, make a case study, which we currently do at the JSD. So the question is how to, the talk about analog to digital, how do you reproduce a painting, transfer the analog data, the physical space to virtual space, and vice versa, so going back and forward. In this case, you just see the image, the physical image, and then actually you just extract, like it can be a 3D scan, translate this data to virtual space, and later, what we want to use is to use an industrial robot that is recreating the painting. So the pad, everything is reprogrammed, and the robot just does it by himself. In terms of mass customization of my research, the question is, if the robot reproduces it, the data is stored, so it can be reproduced over and over again, so it's not unique. But due to physical constraints, like the dripping of color, the painting is going to be different each time. That's actually the main topic of the research, the way it goes, to find out how a machine can produce a unique, let's say, unique way of an end product. Not going into, let's say, into programming and like randomness and all this creation of noise. So the end product is actually a recreated painting based on the artist's original painting, but just like on the virtual space, and we see where it's going to lead us. So it's going to be more experiments like this, so this is just the recent case study. So thanks again to Brad Stilwell to be here tonight. No? Thank you.